Would you welcome Robin Williams?
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 funniest Robin Williams interviews.
Set us up for comedy heaven.
For this list, we're looking at this legendary comedian's most memorable talk show appearances, whether he was sitting or standing up on the couch. What's your favorite Robin Williams interview? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Finding his voices. Des O'Connor Tonight. Williams was a master of voices, although it takes some experimentation to find the right voice for the right character.
First started doing the voice was very much like that.
Speaking with English comedian Des O'Connor, Williams discussed the evolution of Mrs. Doubtfire, who initially sounded more like a wailing Julia Child. Williams eventually toned it down to sound more like Margaret Thatcher. Williams' genie in Aladdin also started with only one voice. Once Disney let Williams off his leash, he delivered just about every voice inside his head.
There's all sorts of voices, and it's like that, you know. You do voices like that. Here in London. There's so many to hear. It's great, really. It's wonderful. You know that?
Yeah, I know.
Speaking in different voices seemed to come naturally to Williams, as exemplified in this interview where he imitates President Bush and John Wayne, who sound more alike than one might expect.
First of all, you take John Wayne and you tighten his ass and you've got George Bush.
O'Connor also mentions Williams playing the Riddler, hinting at the Batman movie we never saw. Number 9. Soldiers, Statuettes, and St. Patty's. Late Night with Conan OBrien. Conan OBrien is one of late night's most eccentric comedians, but even he had trouble keeping up with Williams. O'Brien first crossed paths with Williams when he was an SNL writer. They reflected on this hairy encounter years later on O'Brien's talk show.
This is the hairiest man I've ever seen in my life.
It is frightening. It is an amazing thing. I've actually been at the zoo and had monkeys go, "What are you doing outside?"
On another appearance, the two discussed St. Patrick's Day, a subject that O'Brien is well acquainted with given his Irish roots. Williams, of course, cannot resist an over-the-top Irish accent.
We're driving the snakes out. That's we're driving them towards, we're heading them towards LA and see what happens.
Yeah.
The conversation transitions to the Oscars, opening the floodgates for Williams to impersonate celebrities like Jack Nicholson and Gregory Peck.
It's always good when you see Nicholson in the front going, "Give it your best shot."
In addition to making the audience laugh at the Academy Awards, Williams entertained the troops. Williams took that gig seriously, but that doesn't mean there's no room for a Schwarzenegger impression.
Be afraid. I will not be afraid. More
Some more beef.
Robin Williams when we come back. Stick around.
Number 8. The Pearly Gates. Inside the Actor's Studio. Traditionally, an interview opens with a brief greeting followed by a question.
Look at what you have there. A little TV tray. Let's see what's on the television.
When Robin Williams is the interviewee, though, you could expect several minutes of horsing around before getting down to business. And even then, it's rarely strictly business. After dishing out several voices and interacting with an audience member laughing a little too hard, Williams gets around to answering James Lipton's questions about insanity, his career, and his favorite curse word.
That's the opposite of the other word we talked about. It's just so warm.
The interview inevitably builds to Lipton's "if heaven exists" question. Among other things, Williams says he hopes that laughter exists in heaven.
Just so nice that if heaven exists to know that there's laughter. That would be a great thing.
Williams would pass away 13 years later, adding to the poignancy of his answer. It's safe to say that as long as Williams is present, heaven is full of laughter. Number 7. Surgery and Siri, The Ellen DeGeneres Show. Williams dropped by Ellen DeGeneres' couch several times, a standout appearance being in 2011. Energetic as ever, you'd never guess that Williams had heart surgery only a couple of years earlier.
And I woke up from the surgery, and all of a sudden I woke up and went, "Where am I?" And my wife said, "You're in Cleveland." And I went, "Why?"
For all the rapid-fire one-liners, this interview is also tear-jerking in retrospect, particularly when DeGeneres brings up the subject of depression. Williams replies with a quip, although we'd find out shortly after how much he was hurting inside during his final years.
You have a heart surgery, and literally they open you up, they crack the box, and you get really vulnerable. You'll be like, "A kitten." Oh, God.
Yeah. Nevertheless, the interview is a testament to what a big heart Williams had, making others laugh even as he endured physical and psychological struggles. Whether talking about his personal life or putting a French spin on Siri, Williams' heart overflowed with love for the audience and comedy.
I wish it had a French accent and call it "sorry." What do you do? What do you care? I don't know.
Number 6. Do what with the meat? The Martha Stewart Show. Providing dinner and a show, Williams tickled taste buds and funny bones when he entered Martha Stewart's kitchen.
And luckily, we are going to mix up the rub, and you're going to rub it into the meat.
Donning a chef's hat and apron, Williams helps Stewart prepare the meat for a taco dish. When Stewart tells Williams to rub the meat, she basically serves him a joke on a silver platter that's far too appetizing to pass up.
I'll be rubbing the meat, as we say, for the little children look away for a moment.
Williams is like a little kid trying to assist in the kitchen, repeating everything Stewart says in a funny voice. Once the time comes to pound the meat, the innuendos are taken into overdrive.
We could have what?
Made apple pie.
Yeah, but that's not as much fun as pounding the meat.
Stewart would later single out Williams as one of her favorite guests, saying, quote, "His mind was like a computer. No matter what I said, he had a retort and he was so quick." Number 5. Winters and Williams, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Williams was inspired by several comedy legends, although Jonathan Winters perhaps had the greatest impact.
I was so taken with this guy. I was when I first met him, and on Mork and Mindy, we had a marvelous time.
Those were good days.
In addition to being Williams' childhood idol, Winters evolved into his mentor and friend. The two shared the spotlight on various occasions, including this Tonight Show appearance. In a change of pace, Williams is the one cracking up as Winters chats about his unconventional wardrobe and his recent Emmy win.
I asked, and then the following day, I said, "Where is the award?"
That's right.
And somebody said, "Well, since you weren't there, you don't get it."
While Williams respectfully gives his idol room to talk, we still get to see these two comedy legends play off one another. As the interview wraps, Williams interjects with a Tennessee accent, extending the grin on Winters' face.
Take it
Get
home.
yourself some Tennessee pizza.
There is no question that Williams looked up to Winters, but you can tell from moments like this that they shared a mutual admiration. Number 4. Sports, Science, and Stand-Up, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Williams was best known for his impressions, but this Tonight Show appearance also exemplifies his knack for physical comedy. Landing on the subject of the Olympics, Williams bounces around the set with the energy of a gold medalist.
It began with weightlifting with Pocket Hercules, you know?
Oh, he was great.
It was amazing. It's like,
Okay.
With Williams and Jay Leno both having dabbled in wrestling, a match ultimately breaks out before the first commercial break. As outgoing as Williams comes across, he opens up about being a shy only child who initially didn't grow up around many other kids.
So you were shy and withdrawn?
very withdrawn. I was an only child, and this is also there's always someone should be flashing an 800 number at the moment.
Believe it or not, Williams was studying to be a political scientist until he discovered improv.
And I used to do Lawrence Welk on acid, which was a frightening thing. Yeah. And now let's hear it for the boys in the band. Play that funk music, white boys.
It was around this time that Williams really started to come out of his shell, introducing the world to the voices living inside him. Number 3. Oscar Talk, The Graham Norton Show. Sharing the couch with Elijah Wood and Jennifer Saunders, Williams is once again the liveliest personality in the room.
Chardonnay gone tomorrow, it's a good thing.
The interview covers a wide array of topics, from Williams' work on the Happy Feet sequel to his heart surgery to how he named his daughter Zelda. A certain video game played a role.
My wife was pregnant with her, and my first son, Zachary, was playing the video game, and he went, "What about this as a name for a child?" And I went, "It's a great name."
Arguably the highlight is Williams reflecting on his Best Supporting Actor Oscar for Good Will Hunting. Williams had so much going through his head during this moment that he forgot to thank his mother, who was in the audience.
Even the therapist went, "Get out!"
That blunder aside, it was pretty overwhelming becoming Academy Award winner Robin Williams. That is, until Jack Nicholson won his 3rd Oscar that same night, filling Williams with envy.
And he goes, "You know, Robbo, now I have one for every decade." You bastard!
Number 2. Late Show with Robin Williams. Late Show with David Letterman. Williams was a guest on the 2nd episode of David Letterman's Late Show. Williams made such a triumphant entrance that you'd swear he was the show star. Actually, that's essentially what happens for a moment.
Damn, David, this is a stage for a musical!
Williams treats the Ed Sullivan Theater as his personal playground, turning Late Show into a one-man production of West Side Story. Williams eventually sits down to talk to Letterman about Italy and a mouse toy he stumbled across.
Explain to people who may not know what that
For those
is.
of you who don't know, I'm not sure. This may be Topo Gigio. Or maybe Johnny G. Show his kid.
Williams also gets around to talking about an upcoming comedy he just finished shooting about a father who dresses as a 65-year-old woman.
But it was fun to kind of, occasionally wander away from the set and see how it would work with people. It was great. It would work up till about this distance, and people would start going, "The old lady's seams are coming apart."
Williams neglected to bring a clip, but it's just as funny listening to him talk about Mrs. Doubtfire, unaware what a massive hit it's about to become. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Big cash prize, The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. Williams makes it rain.
You know, it's like a leper giving a facial. It's a bad...
Accepting an award, Live with Kelly and Michael. Even when time slows down, Williams moves fast.
It was pretty amazing. They announced the name, and I was going, and all of a sudden, it's your name, and all of a sudden, your body and your mind goes into slow motion, like, oh, no.
Williams on air travel, Parkinson. He says what we're all thinking.
First of all, if you're having meat on the plane, you don't have a knife, because that could be a weapon. So it's like the quest for Firefly. You know?
Robin Williams Random Character Generator, Friday Night with Jonathan Ross. An improv game perfectly tailored for Williams.
Patronizing Italian kids TV presenter.
Hello, welcome to Piccolo Moments. Come on out here if you can, little one.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Here's Robin, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. The king of late night crossed paths with the king of improv in 1981, marking a historic moment in Tonight Show history.
Believe that comedy can heal you. Praise the power.
Still primarily known for his work on Mork and Mindy, Williams demonstrates his potential to be a comedy superstar as he makes Carson crack up. It doesn't take long for the interview to snowball into a stand-up routine as Williams runs away with Carson's audience.
Look, little Ronald Reagan pencils here.
Yes, they have no point.
This would be the first of many Tonight Show appearances for Williams, who would return to talk about his breakthrough work in Good Morning Vietnam and to initiate Shakespeare after a few drinks.
Think about Shakespeare. You think about a man basically with the education, second-grade education, wrote some of the greatest poetry of all times. I think maybe not. I don't know. Wandering around Stratford after a couple of beers, knocking on doors, going, is this to be or not to be?
Williams was notably a guest on the penultimate episode of Carson's Tonight Show. As Carson prepared to say goodnight, Williams was still just getting fired up.
It's great having you here.
This is an amazing night.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.